What's going on? It's Greg. Greg said it. Man, we in week 2 already. As we know, Colorado's 1-0. Had an interesting game. Everybody's talked about it. I think I did a couple videos, but I did a live the day after, and I did a inspiration motivation. Make sure you check it out. See my take on it. Like, share, subscribe as usual. But on to the next one here. And the next one is Nebraska. And boy, everybody want that more than anything. It's bigger talk, you know. I think North Dakota's fairly nice. The coach was nice. There was no real heat. Nebraska has its own heat. The coaches kind of talking nice. The players, you know, they kind of mild right now. One guy made some suspect comment that he could take either way, but nothing real too much. At least right now on a Tuesday, this thing can heat up. Sometimes they have a tendency to heat up later. Somebody say something, or even at the game, like happened last year. But everybody's playing nice right now in the sandbox. But when we look at it, I have 5 keys, especially based off of what we've seen this past week. Of course, the matchup is going to be different. This is not necessarily a running quarterback like the other one. He's not as experienced. He's not as big. So that's a big thing. The trenches are probably a little bigger in Nebraska, but they were bigger last year. So, you know, a lot of people like to talk about last year. And I said, don't talk about last year, but Nebraska loves to talk about last year because they like to say all our players are bad. They're proud of that. And I say, well, you know, those were the players who struggled last year. They say it was early, but it's early this year. So I don't know what people really want to say, but I feel that Colorado was not as strong. I think the line is better yet to be fully proven, even though you can't please everybody. Colorado didn't give up a 1 sack. They had some pressures, whatever. I guess people feel like shouldn't get touched. Probably so. But realistically, they played better. And they're not really getting credit for it, even though Shador threw almost 500 yards with drops in underthrown balls. I don't know what else you could say. I know you give a lot of credit to Shador, but he had to have time to throw the ball. But then you're going to write that off and say it's North Dakota. So, I mean, North Dakota has some guys been playing 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, it was old as dirt, you know, and that got to count for something. But they held it down, and it was the first game. A lot of these guys are playing together the first time. They're going to get better. Just stay healthy, they're going to get better. And that's the expectation. Now, when it comes to Nebraska, I have 5 keys that I feel like Colorado needs to meet to win this game. And it's so many, I had to have 5 on both sides. My first one is on, let's start with defense. Everybody know that Nebraska has a young quarterback. Right out of high school, they say you want to be Pat Mahomes. People got all these different reasons. Oh, he just is a number. Oh, that's all I want. Man got a haircut like him, want to look like him. He want to move and play like him. He wants to do these off-course type throws like him. I didn't like the way he threw off his front foot a lot. He really didn't. He need to get with QB select because he throws off the front of his foot, and that's the trouble when you really face some real DBs. And I believe he's going to face a couple this week. But I feel like they need to put some pressure on him. Colorado was said to not put a lot of pressure on the North Dakota State last week. And I agree. I mean, I think they picked up a little bit. They're definitely from the ends. So put more pressure on this guy. Not allow him to sit in the pocket, I think is going to be key. And make him make some decisions. Make him feel it a little bit. Also, stop the crossing routes. That's my second one. The little drag routes, the little rug routes. I know they saw that work. They may try that. And I didn't know this was basketball pick and roll, but they was kind of getting away with that a little bit. They got away with a lot. They got away with holding and stuff like that. And Colorado got to be ready for that. If they switching like that, you need to pass them on. You need to come out of your man a little bit. You need to make some adjustments. They got the film. They know what they need to do. They don't need to be stubborn or ignorant. And I don't expect Lipson to do that. I expect him to be an adjuster, the same way we see him do in that first half to second half. Another thing, no big plays, no big runs, no big passes. Minimize. Make people earn it. Don't just let them just stop, boom, stop, touchdown. You stop them. No big plays. And typically when it comes to Colorado, even last year, let's be real, like when USC jumped out, busted plays, busted coverages. When they lost to Stanford, busted plays, busted coverage. When they lost to Oregon, busted. And we're not going to even talk about Washington State. When they lose, it's busted plays. Nobody's running down their throat. Everybody say, oh, they're going to get ran over. I think they average about maybe 3 yards. Well, that's what we're looking at so far with North Dakota. So it wasn't a run. The quarterback down there had 100 yards rushing. That was just on some busted stuff. That stuff can be fixed. That's not a player issue. Maybe a personnel issue. Maybe just a time issue. But you ain't do it because you're better. And they can fix that. If they have to get some people up out of there, they can fix that. We also got to reduce the turnover. That's number 4. Produce turnovers, where get some interceptions. This boy want to throw the ball. He want to test you out. Let him feel it. Put your best guys out there and pick some balls off. Put pressure on them and pick some balls off. He want to put it. But see, the other team, North Dakota, they played it safe. Little drag routes, underneath routes. That's why they didn't really throw no touchdowns like that. I mean, they used it to methodically get down the field, and that helped. But ultimately, it wasn't like big plays. It moved the chains. But this guy here, he going to take some risks. He going to throw some deep balls. He going to throw some bombs. He going to try to get after you. I think this is an opportunity to really tap into what our secondary can do, more so than what we seen last week outside of, doing better with the inside leverage and, transition and things like that. And my last thing for this group, thanks to Shiloh, and really all of them. I mean, I think Carter, I think that hands to the face thing was kind of suspect. Taking a second look at Hayes, he was offsides. Dumb stuff like that should be changed. And that game is totally different. I mean, maybe they would have got the field goal anyway on Charlotte. They was kind of in the red zone. Maybe not, I don't know. But that didn't help. But we know a touchdown came after Hayes. So eliminate the dumb penalties. Get out the field on 3rd down. You actually produce a 3rd down and get a penalty at the end. You actually stopped them and got a penalty. Get off the doggone field and kill that, just like from last year. You make it a lot easier on yourself. So those are my 5 keys for defense. Now, when we move over to offense, I think it's pretty clear. It's the same every week because you know what we have, you see what we have on an average day. Shador can throw 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Easy. On a good day, he gonna do it. On the average day, he can do it. And if you protect him, you keep from getting sat and running around and twirl and all that, he's pretty much unbeatable. If you let that man sit in that pocket with the receivers he have, because a lot of times he was, even in the last game when he scrambled, Travis was open. Sometimes you put pressure on him. They don't mean his receivers not open. That happened last year with Weaver. They were open. They just putting pressure on him. If you simply, we got 100 linemen over there. We can figure out somebody. We put you on the bench now. We got some people over there ready to play and can play. Now, maybe they get more familiar with offense, but we got some guys that can get in now. So it's not like last year, we just got to play what we got. We can find what we need to find. They over there. They may be young, they may be new, but we can find it eventually. It may not be last week, may not be this week, but if we push come to shove for whatever reason, just know we got people over there who can get in there and protect too, especially in that guard position. I think number 2, we need the running game support going. Not necessarily got to be even or this and that. That's your team. But I think that, if they come rushing 3, we need to gush them. If they think they're just going to load up on us or whatever, we need to take advantage of that. And I think we have the running backs that could do it. I know Hayes could do it. Hayden. I know Michael Welch can do it. I believe Charlie can do some things, but I know we have some big play guys. I know Auguste hasn't played. I know he can hit a home run. I even know Brandon Hood can do it. He hungry. He has high confidence, and we know he got the speed and the power to do it. A lot of these guys may come on later, especially young guys. Let them transition in. But one thing for sure, we got running backs who can hit the home run. And some of them have different skills than others. We figuring this thing out. I told you. They're figuring this thing out. The talent's there. The personnel groups and who does what. We're figuring that out. It was kind of preseason-ish. And they learned from it. Personnel is part of that. Speaking of that, expand our weapons. We was real cute and nice Nobody saw Jimmy Horn. Nobody saw him coming. Everybody said, oh, he this, he that. The man put up last year. And everybody like, oh, Jimmy Horn. Jimmy Horn can do what he do. You know what Travis gonna do. You still haven't introduced the world to LeJounte Wester. You still haven't fully seen Will Shepherd. You still ain't had a taste of Timmons or Marion Miller. Let's establish these weapons. We got an extreme advantage with these weapons. Use them. Use them. Nobody should be tired out there. Nobody should be nothing. Use them. You say we got these packages. Use them. Expand these weapons. Shock them. We have talent. We have size. Let's use it. Also, we get number 4. Get into the creative play calling. They say we vanilla. I believe that, and I possibly believe he who shows everything. I think that's a process for any team in a year to kind of reveal stuff throughout the season. You don't show everything week 1. I mean, you don't want nobody to be able to watch 7 weeks of tape. You can slowly implement, maybe based off your opponent, your playbook. And I think, I don't know, nothing was really wrong with the playbook because they were just that much better than North Dakota. Even though they had some dumb stuff on the defense, offensively, they just really couldn't do. It was no matchup, like I said. They couldn't match up. The DBs couldn't match up. We had too many weapons, and the weapon we had, they couldn't match up. So we know what kind of quarterback we have. We know what kind of receivers we have. People still want to see what kind of running backs we have. We know that. So just more creative plays, more emotion. If the guys not get comfortable piling up on our line, make them think twice. We'll implement some things. And I think last, just make that clock work for you. Make that clock work for you to the point where it puts pressure on people, where your scoring has an even bigger impact on them because it's like, oh, shucks, they just scored a back-to-back or whatever, and we run out of time. Or, just corner them, really. Play chess, not checkers, when it comes to that clock. Scoring at the right time, that's a big deal. When you look at between quarters or halves, really, really milking that clock where it takes them longer to score. Put them in a corner where it's going to hurt them and make them do things they don't want to do. And I think it's a combination of all these things. I think using a running game when you need to, and when it's least expected, and when it's most potent, and moving those chains and score. And you're going to have to work that clock. You can't play the clock like random kids on the playground. We want to see some methodical, well thought out, strategic ways of playing this game. Like we seen, maybe one cute when you threw the ball at the end instead of running the clock out. It looks real elementary. It does, especially when it turns out to look more theatrical than it should. When they throwing Hail Marys and stuff like that, when really they shouldn't even got the ball back. Yeah, it looked cuter to keep throwing the ball, but at the same time, it's like put more pressure on people and less hope. Got to do that. I expect that, not just out of players, but the coaches. The coaches got something to prove too. You got too many coaches who have been disrespected because this is their first opportunity. New line coach, first time. New defensive line coaches, some of them first. Then you got a brand new defensive coordinator. You got a lot of things that you trying to prove as even a staff to people who say, oh, that ain't enough, they got a bad staff. You got to show these people you know what you're doing. Game management is going to be critical. Because even in the game like we just saw, you got it won. Doing stupid game management can make you lose. I believe game management made them lose to UCLA last year. Going in and have time with the lead versus going in and letting them score at the last minute. That right there can't happen. Whole different group. Then people gonna start saying, I'm gonna blame Coach Prime. Whatever that imp is, you need to deal with it because you got a whole different group. It shouldn't be the same result. It shouldn't feel the same. It's different players, different coaches. And then we're gonna call it something spiritual, who be GB. We're gonna call it something crazy. Just like we can say, oh, they got a winning pedigree and it passed on. I don't know what he's passing on, but you got different players. They should play different. They should have different attitude. If it's that spiritual, y'all better do it. You better get some crap about it. Do some deliverance. If it's that, quit taking gifts and quit playing with the doggone little imps. Quit letting the doggone rappers bring whatever they bring. Whatever you need to do, because it shouldn't be. It's different people, different attitude. We expect different results. Shouldn't be nothing the same. So we're going to week 2. We expect to see something different, but we also expect to see something the same. We expect to see a butt whooping on Nebraska. They got whooped last year, only scored a touchdown. They blame it on the defense, but they said all the same stuff last week. We bigger, y'all weak. What did that do for you? Our quarterback is da-da-da-da-da. He's a running quarterback. What'd that do? Then everything that you use, you blame it on. You blame it on the fact that he fumbled the ball. Well, you shouldn't have been talking about you had a running quarterback. He wasn't fumbling passing it. So it worked against you. You're supposed to blew away the defensive line anyway. You're supposed to been tearing Shador up anyway, but the opposite happened. Shador tore Nebraska up. They really had no answer for him defensively. They were dropping people everywhere, and he was dropping bombs everywhere. And they got nothing to do with the defense. They say, oh, because he got it on the 40. Man, he was bombing at will. It didn't matter. He's on the 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You know, it ain't no 60. It don't matter where he was at. He was bombing you. His players was wide open. If anything, the short field should have helped you the way he was bombing him. You'd rather have been dealing with him in the red zone because the speed was too much. I think you'd rather deal with the speed in the short space than in the open field, in the long field, where they can outrun you. Our receivers are faster this year. Now, Dawson was quick. Well, Ajante is quick and quicker than Dawson, so we lost no speed there. Jimmy Horn is in rare form. Travis is moving like he should. And I'm telling you, you ain't seen Timmons cut loose yet. We didn't see Timmons. Another big receiver. We got a little taste of Shepard. So I just expect to see even more. As long as they block, as long as defense don't do no dumb messing, I don't see Nebraska having a chance of beating them. I mean, everybody got a chance. You do dumb stuff, but I just still think Nebraska is a decent team. I think they're pretty average. I think they're going to be a good team in years to come. But I just still don't think the weaponry, I don't think they can match up with the weaponry. And the quarterback is a little much. If he on another 500-yard passing game. Another 4 touchdown plus game. He going to do that. He going to do that with an L. That's what he going to produce. All the defense got to do is shut it down. And they're able. Well, those are my 5 keys, both sides of the ball. Greg said it. That's how this thing gonna go. More to come. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll be talking to y'all soon.